Tashidele, Khenchen Rinpoche.
Tashidele.
Tengola. Hello everyone. So today we will start the section number 13. So time flies. We have only 2 weeks more to go. As usual, we're gonna start with my mandala offering.
Hoàn toàn giải thoát khỏi những ràng buộc của chân và huyễn, siêu vượt danh tự và các tướng của sinh, diệt và trụ, siêu vượt đến và đi, lấy và bỏ. Mà Đà La tối thượng chính là cảnh giới tâm nguyên sơ. Con xin dâng cúng tất cả và qua đó, nguyện con được gia hộ để đạt cảnh giới Phật.
Completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the name and attribute of arising, sensation and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial, the supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Dewa Dakini Rana Mandala Pratishta Soha.
Sanje Chudan Chojin Chonam Lai Chanchu Bandu Dane Jabzun Ji Dake Jinsu Jibe Sunam Ji Dola Pench Sanje Dumbar Ju Sanje Chudan Chojin Chonam Lai Chanchu Bandu Dane Jabzun Dage Jinsu Jimbe Sonam Jen Dola Benjira Sanjen Dumbarju.
Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merits of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Mayanam Gadan Yambe Sanjen Tamjen Deva Dan Devi Judan Dembra Jurje Dungaradan Dungaje Judan Trevara Jurus Dunge Meben Deva Dan Mendravara Jurje Nyeren Chada Nyedan Trave Dan Yumla Nebra Jurje Mayanam Gadan Yambe Simjen Damjen Deva Dan Deve Judan Dembra Jurje Dungadan Je Judan Trevara Jurje Dunge Meben Deva Dan Mendravara Jurje Nyeren Chada Nyedan Tra Danyumla Nebra Jurje.
May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from this happiness, which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Chanse wadan jujen shabadan jisu yerang gujen sorwa ye gewa jungze dagi jisab tamje zobe chanchu chembur.
Whatever slight virtues I have accumulated through prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and requesting, I dedicate it all for the sake of complete enlightenment.
So she ambition to jame do dang revelin ye ni de jembande sanje shendu me de purvai dogen nam da shendu je bar jo goson yon zo la me zo nam la jena san sun de shin ni jen chu Dalle lonjo nasi yongje la lame joge ngudu zandu so wan gurun dewa dragen rena mendala bardeza so.
The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddhahood. To the Lama who possess the 3 kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and the secret offerings. With my body, wealth, and all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization, enlightenment. Om Guru Deva Ratna Mandala Pratichaye Swaha.
Samje Namje Sambadhan Loye Chedra Jedrava Chechon Temon Tebai Chechen Golo Gordo So.
Please turn the wheel of the Dharma, of the greater and lesser vehicles, and the teaching come on to both according to the disposition and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Kanshe Korwe Janson Jesuron Shankara Gawale Duran Zebe Kaji Rinpoche Jeba Nambar Dawe Jinjen Jinlabji Chujun Jadu Jimbe Yandrase Meji Shem Malam Jachewa Yunrungwa Linje Trebe Dubje Trima Mebe Lama Tamba Nangla Chan Sarjan Chudu Jabson Chewa Jinjen Laburan Zedu So Dojin Chaman Delo Naru Tanga Marmetawa Parin Jilingan Garen Sundin Zewe Lame Shap Zaju Lama Yadam Jisung La Surwan Deso Daju Shinje Lo Chenzen Ganda Dumba Dosan Je Kandur Mungo Barden La Murishara Tujiran Shen Tarve Lam Dump Yonzen Shinye Namla Guja Zara Ladang Lame Mam Je Wangbo Dan Jarjin La Zo Chuje Chola Chawa Chebanam Sanje Son Rabdu Shishin Deve Jujuru Dedan Chichi Tambe Chunyin Barian Dirshikshi Namgada Nyambe Samje Tamjiji Tundu Tobjala Namebrayang Tabula Zogu Sanjiji Kumbang Tamba Jinejang Tobracha Ti Chedu Oda Tambe Chu Samo Tebadang Samba Gombra Jiwo Nyambe Samba Changchun Chodu Lepar Sabdam December Shu.
In order to benefit all the mother sentient beings, and in order to benefit, then in order to attain the all-knowing, the Buddhahood. So listen carefully here for the teachings of the Gongchig.
Tene ta kang chebra chawa oda tambe ju bungba ji we yung o tende ji imbarwa ta tinane tene kasang anzo chom tangbo ne chom jipa inche chasang shu tsawarwa ta tana ngabe nane tene ta shu jimba tende ji re de indu zane da dorsong sena chom ngabande zobo tene sangage 다지 왕 슈출 왕 슈네 드네지 제름당 조름기 냠술렌 술라서 와다 드네기 냉가데 송용고요레 띠인도산에 드네 지당게다 공직이 용 차차마지 등상의 투조를 배 개침보지 차용고요레 라버도 드네 상하게 좀데 대회장 드네 이제 개치슈노지 차기도 염생가서는 가랑조 상마다지 가르세고레 네 상하라 베지 가오유베게다 강사 장장로와 텐드 지체나 상하게 템바테 타야기 텐저스나인다 어다 상하게 템베게 되네 두르자 툴라 파위지레 어텐데 인도 칸터를 상하라 슈야데 드링간조 트로나 여바지다 가와여바 어다 텐데지 슈야라 만좀 상가여 텐데지 인도 자네 드네야지 슈탄 칸데지네 슈부군도 슈 철외지게 냠술 렌자데 칸데지 렌도 다 텔라 소바데 셴고야데 베케 쳔부인도 자네 텐텐수 고르다지 nenga 체와데 텐탄단디 좀 디나마 송용고르와 텐데 인도 자네데 게 쳔모트는지 차비요사레.
Now up to here we have had a teaching about the vital points, up to the four units of the vital points. Now, right now, we are on the part of the vital points, the vows of the sacred mantras, and usually, and the Gongchig itself is very important when we talk about the mantra part. So, like, it talks about the generation stage and completion stage and so on. And it's also very important to know about the sacred mantrayana, especially this time also. And I think it's very important because it seems like it's a time ripening for us to practice the sacred mantrayana, and it is a kind of the dependent factor that we are here. Many people are now interested to the sacred mantrayana, and how the point here is how to engage into the sacred mantrayana and how to practice this the sacred mantrayana. So therefore, it's very important to listen carefully and to do according to the what is stated here. Last word.
다 텐데 인도잖아. 근데 가서 돌송 구바 인체대 슈스마로와 다 테렌 돌송 쭈바들의 쭈바 대기 쭈바 탐제 밥지 땐들이 소야지다와 다 테레 디 인도잖아. 디 지단 가르송거에서 인도 가상 공기 대당 된다 nen가 지과한다고 그래. 왕보라블라 초가 제바고래 송도와 대다 된다 지과래. 난 디게 가르된 거에서는 남중어랑 쪽인데 지기로와 벤남 단난 주게 나라 드네 가르세오래 자완자면의 방고레스 최탐제랑 신게 대칸제지레스도 동반이 쥐베겐 다 탐제당 잘와지레스 대두선 당가랑 쪽에 되는 지 쥐반자면의 망보지 제대와이나 저도 참아 남도레스야 계좌지금 그러와 대두선에 되는 지 왕지 슈에 깔라이나야 지금 돌든돌든라고 저 다시라 제바고 말에 그래서 정말 쥐바레스 한다고지 되네지 배나 징구른 최백이 자와지가 정규 연합배는 름천다고 지금 릅첸한테 좀 소유나 다지 지라지라 쥐바 제바고 말에 그래서 상마대 거지 쥐바레스 한다고 된대기 계좌지 용구요로와 다 단단되네 가르송구 요레스인도 제당가랑 저 직대기 남주인 다지 쥐바 자첨부채야 지그로와 야 된소 텐다지는 참참 바메베 롱주 텐데라 차한도 그런지 된게 쥐반다면다 이나 제대 이나야 추게 돈에 가세지 쥐되바 이나야 대점주 소는 그 소사 두고요 지단 자외찬에 쥐바지 푸네 쥐바 제바 쥐바 짱마 쥐바 부가 타보 연다 초지 당와 이나야 초게 제든 중문에 지 당여 같은데지 풀바 이나 되게 소는 그 초도로 그러와 나타나는 징코르 고미야라 소베 쥐바튼도 상마데 가세 제바지 중화이나야 야보레스 줌첸 가스나 대탐제데 시법기 땡저름도 당지레스 남수배나 징코르베 자제보지 조아이나 대점지 드네 덴데 냠술 렌네 슝켄기 간사라 땡저기 주진 푸숨 조바 지금 좀 연구요래 된 좀연도 전에 드네 또바줄지야 펜토 연구요와 텐데 영상 쥐바 탐제데 밥지 땡저제데 고레스 땡데 방고 말에 세대 송말에
Here the 10th Vajra verses, the ritual elaboration or natural dependent origination. And it is quite similar to the above, the 9th Vajra verses. It's relating to the 9th Vajra verses. And what it says is, usually in the practice of the Dhamma, we should avoid like many activities. We should avoid like things which is like kind of useless activities, and we should focus on the point. To the all the fabrication has to be avoided, because all these fabrications are actually the kind of concepts, and it's not really the required. Even for when you are receiving the empowerment, we try to do empowerment in a very short and like in a very easy way. And also if you're doing the Dukchen or sadhana, or the practice, the retreat, also we do in a very short and also very easy way. But what Lord Jigten Singh stated is that if that is a kind of the samsaric world of practice, then we should have to avoid that. It's not that helpful. But in case if it is a kind of the Dharma practice, then it's better to extend or better to elaborate as much as possible, because whatever we do, like kind of like accumulation of the practice or accumulations of two path, whatever, and also the mandala practice, if we do it extensively with the elaboration, then it would help the practitioner to go into detail, and also it will help their like inner realization to arise well and also establish well. So therefore, it is very important to have the greater extension or the like kind of elaboration, and because it is a natural dependent factor. So like in the same way as we have stated that, which is we are all dependent factor. Therefore, when the mandala and the sock offering, all it was done like in a very elaboration way or in an extensive way, it will help for the person to achieve their realization and their awareness very quickly. Lasula.
Tene dan digi nengachi kariyong gurusana jedan tene wangdang tene dumchö la so wa ta tendegi kapsu tene jingkur jeba dang choga jeba dang tene ji je ngobo yongso zoba jeba ji ge tone tene pusum zoba ji ge tone wang kurwa dang tene ji duchen choba la so ba tene ji nawa ina ten di tene tendil la tene 치유 댄들 대기 난기 셈라더니 진압지 토빙이야 요래송도 대지도 전에 후마드는 자라 자보지 요바래 다 자보 디스케다 칭보지 임바래 근데 자보긴 된라 니마지로 코란게 아마데 용네 근데 자보기 동발라 따네데 모티 스무기 요르데 이 인도 전에 되니 자보게다 아마주 들은 가르치는 거요 나라 따기 가르치는 거요 세인도 전에 되니 아마게 레스가 뭐야기 좀 생각도 가능해서는 중앙문에 단다 제부 왕차 첨부 제부 지지 첨부 가리에는 무슨 소바들이 요레스 이내야 니마지라 중앙 치와마다 봐 세야지 렘네 제부 중앙다 신도로 와스 tinga 텔페 섬주군도 텐데션이다 아메 제부를 티슈바레 근데 제부게 다진 치와마다 봐세 둥해 대단 강에 대레 파래하게 탑람다고 유나스 아마 깨져 들어 디드 전에 아메기 다 패싱에 개 하고 찍지는 유스기래 나랑 쪽에 드니 디 코리우스으로 다 잡기 포장기 예용도 가지라 드니 nen주로 봐지 요래 스텔레 깨져 되나 드니 패시 찍지는 공기 탑람지 땐도 가오래 스텔라버 아메 드니 잡기 남산 렘보탄에 nen주로 봐야 깨땅네 드니 치와 매백이 탑시 텐데 땡야 US 대유는 알지 군도스 대송바베 잡고겠더니 저도 되게 양 오유스 년 치와 매백 탑럼 땡고스 한번 훈련을 주라더니 분파 동바지 계셔스 다 분파세 있는 것도 단다 원나에 분파대 지부 말에 자기 롱발라 출루세게 너 참말 분파세게 대인도 출루세게 너 침부든지 계셔스 동바지 그런 게 저라는 치와 매백 탑럼 째고스 근데지 송도 nen주바게 네 저보야 뇌 남산 차리나 되더니 라마 되게 뇌 동배나마 라반데 잡네 뇌 동배나 라반데 지나마 루네 근데 야한테네 치원몇 탑람 데레 라바 동바스 땜바다 때때인도 전에 근데 잡고페 콩트로사다 내가는 거고 빼당도 삼네 가연사는 거 근데 탑람 가연 때야면도 다 가서 시행도 삼데 잡고 콩트로사 내주버 좀 하나 주의다 지난 내주로 받을 때 또반 통보인 게 되지 인사를 이나 좀 하나 주의자 버려. 근데 내주로 받기 로마 만보 요서라더니 콘조게다 코란조 라마들 라서와. 근데 계좌팅인도 전에 제부 좀 하나 요 하고도 대하 고인도 전에 로마 텐조를 제부기 초란조게 라마 되기 간고 그렇다용도스 다 계시 초란조 라만데 소라 년카메와 지dan 좀 하나는 치료로 땅고 요나 초란조가는 치워면 탈럼지 땡고 그래서 대땡 두고 요나 Tene nganzogi ta churanzo lama de tangchos desong bare desong indu zang tene nanjuru baten zogin digres tene jarbola tape dunsong gi chingkor tra jeba choga jeba ta pumpa dang zedang yoje ngubu chasang zomba chige tone jarbola wang guru barda wang jeba guru wang rimba jindo guru indu zang jarbogi wang jibe ge tende to yung guru ta wang jibe tende 동이 찾아 전부가 되는 봐. 대또 용도 전에 되네 jarbogi 라마 당보되게 가 오늘 내로도 땡도데 이능에 하코문도 땡도 가 논도 삼바다. 땡도 라메 당보거나 땡사로와 최담제가 아직 동반이래서는 땡바로와 너 동바지기는 라바 동바지 땡바다. 근데 그 하코요 말에. 디 점생게 치즈페나 폼마든 저기 군도 두바 제보서 탑는다. 문다치네 칼레 jarbote 야 semge tobada ya kumpar chasundu zane tene chaja sembe nelo tobada nyamdu numege tendade hakko yumdo tindu zane tuba seya de goya jumsen tere tuba tamje pawje tendre seya de nenga tende jigo tu yusare.
So like as we have stated that elaboration around natural dependent origination, it's very important to have when we are having empowerment or drupchen or retreat. It is required to have the elaboration of the mandala and extensive, all the substance, all has to be accumulated. Because what it says, state is that the outer tandil or outer dependent factor is there, then the inner dependent factor is accomplished. Because these are all dependent upon each other, inner and outer dependent factor, all these. So for example, there's a story once in India before, there's a king and his mother, the king's mother, he saw his mother crying all the time. And one day he asked his mother, why you are up crying? And she said that one day you passed away, and I'm very worried about the end of your day. You're going to the death and so forth. So then the king thought, and king asked to the mother, what would be the the solution for that? How to come up from the death? How to Then mother said, maybe I'm not sure, but you can ask someone nearby our palace. There is one Mahasiddhi. Then you can ask him. Maybe he might know. So then, king sent his minister to find out that person. They found that person who is yogi, and they asked him, show me the way how to come out from free from the death, how to become the deathless. Then this yogi brought one kind of vase or one container. That time in India, all the container are known as vase. So what he did was he brought an empty container and he put his hand like this, and he took out his hand like empty hand like this, and he said, this is the deathless, which means actually he's showing the emptiness. But that time, the king didn't know anything about what he's doing and what he's trying to demonstrate. So the king got very angry because he thought he was cheated. And he asked his people to put into the jail. And this yogi was put into jail. And after some time, the disciples of the yogi came and tried to search for their masters. They couldn't find a master, but somehow they came to know that their master was put into jail, and because of the reason why, also they knew about why the king put him into the jail. So then they thought, and they talked to the king and the minister, and they said, so your master has been lying to us, and we need to get out from the debt and to become a debtless. So then they thought, so we should have to make it, we have a solution. We'll try to give you the solution. And they made all this kind of the mandala in a very extensive way, all the kind of substance, all the kind of, the empowerment, the first empowerment, second empowerment, third empowerment, and fourth empowerment, and so forth. And what happened was, with this kind of extensive kind of the rituals, when the king reached to the fourth empowerment, he was able to recognize, he was able to enlighten himself, or aware that he has he was enlightened, and he was actually come up from the debt. That means then he also realized that from the very beginning, that the yogi, when he put his hand into the empty vase, empty container, and take out his empty hand, it actually shows the meaning of that, the empowerment, that is the emptiness, the teachings of emptiness. So therefore, from this one, it is stated that it is required the extensive kind of rituals or elaboration of the natural, elaboration in the practice, in the it becomes a very supplementary for one's own practice. Lasura.
Tene yang te mahimba pena nguma tene jesu marbaloza da jala tingma sum penarwa jala tingma sum pemne tene tingma sumba gi kabla da jala ma phol peyongwa ni phol peyong du jane tene korangir loma da jidam marpe gi loma mambure de loma zowi jirwa da jesu malare ba dang tene ngo chugu dorje seya tene meten chombo seya o tende shena da kandal loma zowo xie yongwa tinane tene loma chi tanda meten chombo seya tere kongen chena meten seya chombo seya de kompite kusha jagwa yoyo sare tene meten chombo sna taware kandare ya tene kongi densala pene tene ta tring de ojila meten gi densala pena yo sarwa sanin de ojila peche sebachu yana nishunga ta tende gen cheba chimboji tudawa 초긴 콜로방 코리아 투수지 때 텐데지 투연도 전에 메던기 제주 마르발라 카르시바레스나 다 데랭기 총구른데 오늘 지금 총구를 자제바지 총구를 지신 제바지 그러나 사치단체 배자는 주패 슬람 타른 버튼데 지금 배 텐데인도 전에 옵제텐데 배 종유를 띵도 전에 텐데 궁에 텐데 요래데 이내양 tene talenge chongkor de ta inji menji chajebaji naronang kayinsana digne tene maongpagi hlomatenzu geya ji chongkor se ya de kandeji korgu yosare metuji chanures mitas mepedasaji teyengyo jane tene jesu marba chege ta ji jala pene naru penchenge gundunla chongkor koryondo jane chongkor 다 제바던데 간대지 고르고 요나 티나시 지고로낭 세야 슈르와 티 슈르 잔네들이 제좀 마페 다 총굴베 다 제바던데 지고낭다와 초가베 제바지게 돈 총굴드는 제바레 총굴드는 제인도 잔네 다 메테 데 당보네 제좀 마르바기 포마레데 근데 하버도 총굴 데라 때네 총굴기 초가 제바 데라 때네 메테 답에 대바 슈치르 차네 근데 오늘기 네 단답어도 총고 망보 꼬르뇽 나랑게야 이젠다게 총고 꼬로 망보양 통용데 이나 대ren게 총고인데 나신게 자원이네 된 제마송 대시도 전에 문에게 지다 가르쳐 그래 심lep에 주바슈 첨보지 탭톱송 선야 슈더와 팀도 전에 지나한테 상하게 초가서야 돼 지 초가 자제받아 초가 뿌가 타고 지여바이나 근데 델라 때네 초사 토야라야 팽겨요래 근데 즉 대바된 예치제야라야 팽겨요사래 문에 상하게 뇌den이나 어 근데 인자 대단하게 된 송을 태양대 송래.
And now another example is that in the past, the the great translator, great master Marpa, came to India 3 times. And when he come back to Tibet, he has many disciples. And among them there are 4 more important. That's Milarepa, Ngokten, and Miten Tsombo, and so forth. Miten Tsombo means Tsombo usually means like he must be a kind of a pet person. So he was also known as Tsombo. So one day what happened was at the place of the Miten Tsombo, they were going to make a talk offering. That time, the Miten Tsombo requested Marpa to do the very extensive kind of like a feast offering, because he was asking that you have been to India, and though you must be tired, but somehow he requested the Marpa to do an extensive kind of feast offering. And he said, and also for the future, that how our disciple would able to have this kind of good example to do the feast, and also you have done this one extensive feast offering in the presence of the Naropa. So because of this, when they did this very extensively, and Miten Tsombo said that it really helps. It really touches heart, and it really helps him to dedicate his all kind of the practice, and it really helps for his mind, for the faith to increase, and also to trust, and also it is very good for the practitioner to realize their ultimate reality.
Atene Theola Dorsum Chuji Bateki, Dorjilon, Samon Colorji, Seatere, Tatisum Dutane, Jedan Nag Kabla, Tene Chutam Chegla, Dorji Seg, send it in a time Gurua, Karina, Coaching Jura Mepa, what Tendega Rangshin Bala, Dorjes and a song Guru, Tendutane, Nanzu Lun de Layan, Dorji Lus and a song Gurua. That Dorji Lus, it was an a Kandichilang and Zinangure. Aranzuji Shadan Tag Rangshin Jendela Dorji Lu a Candida Song Dusane, then Delanjik Songongi, Dorji Lu, saying Aranzu Lugi Ranshin, Tombani Jurua, or Delatane Dorji Lus and Sungures. Dorji saying do, Tene Suchig Nevachi Matuba, Jura Meba, what Tendega Ranshin Jengire, the Indusane, Nansugi Lugi Ranshin, Momo de Karsana, Tene Sanji Chujiku sayat Charing Gures, Tichiduzane, Tentandi Dorji Lu sayate, Samo Tomba Nigitini Ranshin Chigla, Dorji Lus and Sumbare, sayate Tene, Dorji Lune, Samon Colorges.
So here the 11th Vajra verses, Lord Jiten Sungin maintains that the Vajra body is a profound cycle. Maintains. So what it means here is that usually when you talk about the Vajra body, when you talk about the Vajra, it means it's unchangeable. And Vajra body here doesn't mean our body with the blood and flesh and so forth, but rather it means about the empty nature of our body. So that no one can destroy it, no one can change it, and it's like the Dharmakaya. All Buddhas, the Dharmakaya. So it was like here, it was maintained here, means it is like it was taken as the profound cycle, the profound cycle of the Vajra body. So this profound cycle of the Vajra body is that the Dharmakaya of one's own body. So that means the really nature of the empty nature of our body. That's all.
And then Dorsong Chusum Bade, Led and Tuxum Gashim, or Dorsong Chuni Badrova, Nelum Gashim, Dorji base. The Nelungaji Dorjin Chang Bay, so in the Sana Namjung and so Karisung Gerisana. Tane Tangaran so Lugi, Sagin Nature, Lung Nature, Tileg Nature. Then I think than the Jerem Nature. Then I think Zorum Nature. But so to Chatang G. Sanjegi tene sungenala yudewana shinchi. Pechaganala yudewana shichi samutangirwa. The Induzane Tandane Karisumbarsana Tende Mare Sumbare. Sadan Lunda Tilila Sobeki Nenga, Munegi Samugi Nenga Tanzo Mambuji, Sanji Dorjin Changi, Musu Tigotone Sumyo Mares, the Induzane Nanzo de Pecha Chibuganane, Salong Tisung Nelu de Higmare Sungere. Teach you Zane. Nandur Sabaro de Penaji, Latin Sandrogina Dumula, Dumu Gomiala Betonang Chimbu Yunke, Mambo Yore, we say Gomiala Tonang Chimbu Chinge, Mambo Yuchure, Julu Gomiala Tonang Chinge, Mambo Yuchure, Chaja Chimbu Gomiala Tonang Yunke, Mambo Yoro, the Yudu Zane, Teniji, Tenso Gorgi, Pecha Tenso, One. That Tinane, Mashe Javanashi, Chene, or Tanga Chasanchi, Michi to you, Sambayina, Tin Norware, Sumbare. Tin du Karisana, Jerem Dan, Zoram Lasso begin, Nenga Mambuchi, Lamegi, Shane, Flomegi, Nawala June, Yene, Yamlen Chiguachi, Re, Tinsa, Dorjin Changi, Bejure, Sumbare. The bear was a Karchin Beja, what a Dorjin Champion Sana Chimbu Jim Sengone Sanga and Nanga and the Beber Western Mares. G. Tendo Begueg Jim Sen Karsana, Sanga choose a te, Teneng and Lopsin Jendat and Ragio Marata, Tinsan Kechandoina. Uma Tayan, Ragmare, Uma Yang Pechando Chita, National Kalakan, Jehakondure. Then I sent Teneji, Semala Sobata, Jung, Tenso Tedras in a course of Pechata, and a son of an attested Shindua. Yinayang, Unegi, Jerem, Zorum, Ginyamland, Chacheng, Ginyamne, Jitape, Tashing, Tower, Ship taking Nesutan to somebody, Jipeche Toning on the Nietu Mare. Lamegi, Yamyong, Ton from Alatego, Chigua, or Tin Duzane, Tenelungashi, Dorjin Changi, Rangshingi Beja, say a Tetembare.
So now here the 12th Vajra verses. Some topics are hidden by Vajradhara. So it means like when we talk about the nerves, the vein energy, the nerve, the channels, and also the bindu or the tikle, the energy, and also the generation practice and the completion practice and so on, which was ascribed or described in our books or in the scriptures. What it means is that it is not fully demonstrated in the text. There are some hidden points. There are many hidden points there about the channels, the vein energy, and these are hidden by the Buddha Vajradhara. For example, there are many people who practice the heat and the clear light practice, and also the like illusory body, Chokchen, all these we practice based on the text and without taking the expert or the experienced master. So what it means here is sometimes this is danger. Therefore, it has been hidden. So therefore, we have to take unnecessary instruction from a very experienced or expert lama or the teacher. We have to take from them because it is kind of hidden there. So it's not like, studying like a Uma means like the middle path, middle way, the practice, or not like the logic, the tema. And the practicing for the generation stage and the completion stage, the subtleness, the deep subtleness of the practice of the generation stage and completion stage is not something like that, like studying the Umapa and Uma means the middle path and the the logic, and so forth. It has to be acquire the knowledge from the master who really have the experience and knowledge, and who is an expert, who is the master of such kind of practice. That's why it is stated that some topics are hidden by Vajradhara. That's it.
Indu zane tene nelunga shi dorjin changi beja ba yin zang ta ngarang su une gi tene chi chu yang ta wa chi nyamne chin do yun ken tene beji ta naru churu se ya dang 대신 do cha chen se ya da tene gi be sapo ton zong su be ga gi ro wa tene une ga gi yuna tene sapo de den tum ken gi tene lama chi 대양 tene chi sig tone den tum gen zam ma yin bar so so rang la nyamnyong yue be tone den tum gen gi lama yang ta wa chi ze go ya de Khenchen Buddhist. Tendiji yobayina, then Dorjin Changi Beja Batan Sama, the Sotan to Resumare. Demato Tendegi Pena Lama, Senata Dembasana and Nyamyon Yunkenji Martine, then Tas and Azuchi, that Becha, Tensolachi, Ta, Tendegi Tone, Tumo, Gumtanda, Dang, Tijin do Teneji, USA, Gumtanda, Tensuchi, Mipando, Chedevaina, take Hidagi, Pentondo, Kayungumare, Tindusane. So
therefore, like for example, it's for this reason, if we were interested into the practice of like all these kind of the inner practice, the heat, the clear light, and so forth. So we should not just practice just by looking on the text and just go on, and not just the teacher who can teach you, but he himself is not in a position to understand the meaning of it. And when you really need to practice it, then you have to follow the master who have really mastered about these teachings and practice, and who could be able to demonstrate or who could be able to show all these teachings with their experience, and who has really have a great experience of that, and not just by the text and the word, but rather with the meaning and its experience.
Oh yeah, that name digola this on the ledan do sungaji minju sao say that tere. Then Dian Karisungere saying the Zane, the name and the Daji Sanga Nyamsulembe Kapsu Ludan, that same say a zo nigaton that Yamne Roverwa, when a Zalong in Yamne to the Mang Chewate, Lula Tembe in Yamne zo Rochi to the Wa. The Nita than the Daji Chachin Las of the Wundajin, Semna Tembe Yamne Zorwa, Dainaji Lujibuya Mare, Semjibuya Mare. The Induzane, the Nepena Zalongi Yamne Nankenji Nam. The Nita Zalong Tela, some Ji Junt and the Shune, Zala Jun Shuba, Longla Jun Shuba, the Necha Induzane, the Neaji Lula Nasanta Mandayada, Tendegi Gangeji Yungurua. The Induzane, but Tensula Ji Ne Juga Chetang Rua or Zai Jun Pa Seltang. Longi Jun Seltan la soba mamboji, Jidan Sangan la Sonya, Mambo Sungurua. Then I say, Zagi Netul, Longi Netul, then Dutur Sundon, Dutur the Netul Segere. Then the Zalongi Netul Kandayan but Tensoyan, Sanga Juno Sung Sung Yorua, Ledan Saint Tensula, Zalong Tensula Ji, Ju Chetang, Cake Shoe into Zane, Cake Seltangi Lega, then a pond done Surgi Lega, Tensula Le Sungurua. Then do Surus to Zalong and Naturua. The Indusane Tendegi led and natural tenso de Tenecheda Sanhagan and la Sung Yurede, Flower do Mengi Juganala, a pe Shikrat and the Yure, Stitch Dusane, Jiten Sungo Sumbaina, Ji Chudu Tenso Yamen Nankengi, Natane Kansaina, Mengi Tola Yamyon and Kenji. They are the Sanjig Sumbangan me. Jurua, or that Tensun and the Sumbe, Tenji Lalen Tensola. There's a Chenkenji Yubayana, then it's Zadan Long Cake Sesula Sowatala, and the Kangame was Chatures, Tinduzane, led them to Sungashechi, make Junior Sabuyures and somebody.
Here the 13th verses, some treatments and explanation of physical condition and more are more profound in the medical tantras. And what it means is when you practice about the secret mantrana, there are many like cases like you have to practice through the channels and the vein energy and channel and vein energy. So when you practice about the vein and channel energy, sometimes there comes a problem of the defect of our channel and the vein energies because of not knowing how to engage into the practice. So therefore, one should have to have the understanding of when we are having this kind of problems, how to maintain it or how to treat the channel and the vein energy and so forth. So therefore, it is very important to have, we should know the status of the channel and the vein energy, how it functions and how it works with the energy and body. And these kind of things, like how the vein energy exists and how it functions and their status is clearly mentioned, and it's even more profound if you look in the medical tantra, so medicinal tantra of the medicine. So therefore, it is stated that if we are really interested in practicing of these people, we have to have at least go to the masters who have this kind of understanding of the science of the medicine tantra. And in this medicine, through the medicine tantra, since it is detailed there, since it is profound there, it will help us, help one to get rid of all this kind of complication.
tene tandan dichirwa jaagi loban chimbo pawo se achiyor kene konge mengi kola tene yenla jeba se ya tene mengi korchi nze naware tati mengi yenla jeba tegi kong tusan rawo te sanjegi sumbe mengi jula kong lu jebare tene tenrawo yenla jeba gi chagbe ten jikten sungu zigyundu zane tene dihin nana yenla jeba se yundu zane 제다 되는 가난 속에 다지 류 소탕단 대외기 내술지 조래 대인도 지류 컨디션에 소구 위험에 라버도 되는 부배나 로충무기 컨디션에 류 소구 위험에 드네야 류를 네반담을 슈데위나 텐소 컨디션에 소구 위험에 드네야 류게 또 나데위나 텐소 컨디션에 소구 위험에 손자게 되는 매소와이나 컨디션을 쏘고 위험에 다 들레드네 간들 연라 제바세야 되는 차비지 인제난다와 다 디나라 르게 내추르당 르게 소 제담 쥐가 제당 된소 차상한데 십자신의 송용도잖아 언제 된 송용이 되는 디 차비 됐으네 딱 문에게 르게 되는 내추르당 르 소소르데 나게 쥐라서와 달래 mengi jongde pe shendone cha sabandu tende indu zane tene ngonechi ta ritule penken nambe yinaya kandar menjong de desji kodo dang nyamnyong yobaji gundu sentale songre songdo o ti indu zane dandan di zawan di ledan do sun gaji menju sao se ta desine songbare.
So why did Lord Jigten stated that there's some treatments and explanation of the physical condition are more profound in the medical tantra is that there is a text called 8 branches of the medicine or 8 points of the medicines, which was composed by one of the great master, Indian great master. His name is Pao. The Pao means the Veera. And in his 8 points of the medicine tantra, which is related to the medicine tantra of the Buddha. So from the tantra which was stated by the Buddha, and there it talks detailed about how we can preserve our body and how the body how we can maintain our body and how to like kind of heal our body if it is in a complication, how we can overcome the disease. For example, if your like lower part is like kind of in a disorder, or your upper part of your body is in a problem, then how to heal that, and also like or how our body is functioning according to the complication, the situation, and how we can come out and how to heal that. So these are all stated in this the medicine, the tantra, in a very detailed and in a very extensive way. So that's why, since Lord Gyaltsen has seen that seen that text, the tantra, that's why he expressed that whoever, if somebody who is in a retreat or doing this text practice there with the practice of the nerves and channels, he said it's also very important to look at these medical tantras, which ascribes about the body and its functions, its nerve system, all this in a very detailed and very extensive way.
Oh yeah. 다테는 디올라 카르송가레스나 두르송 주비바데 옌지 메사바남 드르사데 소나이다와 다 옌지 메사바스는 케바신다게 메사바스단 케바스나인데 나란소놈 주선노 타와나신데 나란소 카르산노 당게레스나 베나 소소터베 돈바세야 테단 상하게 돈바세야 니부데 카레 사반로 추르르스나 상하 세야데 사반로 지 추르요레 소소터베 돈바데 지 사바 마인 반로지 데네 테나신도 베나 잠루 돈바 쉐야당 왕 쉐야 니인도지나 다 잠루 돈바데 페체 마슈랑슈도 지고 남바지 차구로와 텐두산에 게 지슌도데 상하게 왕데 지기로와 자치슌도지 텐두 오말레 고마자쳐 지기로와 데나신도 테네베나 냠랭게 림반도 지기 토나선노 다와이나 텐줄 니에가와당 치와마다 버고미야 텐솔레 상하게 제름당 조름당도 고미야데 개체와당 사반도 지기로와 다 당단되는 지된 송고 가르송고 텐데 마레스티 노초 송고래 나랑소 남주 사부 마레 삼대야당 나랑소게 사부 개체모 마레 삼대야 텐솔테데 니버도 사보당 개체모레스 좀생 가르치는 데도 요래서는 주라 소소터베 domba 양타바지 줄레 마치바이나 되네 장dom당 나돔 줄레 제 투마레스 domba 인지면지 장dom당 나돔 줄레 제구요나 담보 소소터베 domba 구요바 어떤데 데나신도 되네 다단디 페나 냠랭게 rem반도 지가 선동다이나야 치와 메타바세야 되게 돈에 간주지 섬는 조안도 데스 땅 마토바이나 되네 제름 검바당 조름 검발라서 같은 소양 지체는 직대게 되네 지보당야기 냠년도 지 창조에 년가 연구와 대인도 전에 되네 연다게 메자버는 데바튼 소 니버도 자보레 백해 침부레스 대인도 전에 되네 지 오마튼 소라 자 치와 쩌구레 송거래 돈한 슉 치와 치구레 송거래 데마도 되네 지 다단데 소소더베 돈발라서 바당 되네 텐줄 니에가와 곰발라소바 장주게 샘 곰발라소바 텐솔로 돈하시라 마제와체 다 상하게 이담게 라 곰도 요선에 란다만도 곰데바이나 데테니 찍체나 낭베게 냠네 인다면 태숨 창로르다 송거래 그래서 낭베 냠네 이나 잠루던 데바지 구르와 대체게 냠네 이나 심지던 데바지 구르와 근데 잠루더 심지니 메서와이나 라 곰데바테야 남바당 대체게 냠네는 줄투 마레스 텐데 인두자네 텐수베 개침부레스 대송바레
14th Virgil verses, what is not profound for others is profound here. Here the others is also related to us because we think that, for example, like usually what we think is like for example, the individual vows. We take individual vows inferior or lesser important than that of the compared to the mantrayana vows, and also we take like the refuge and bodhicitta as a like kind of a lower, and like for example, like and for example, the practice of the importance of the human life, and the difficulty of getting the human life, the practice of the impermanence of life is not that important compared to that of the practice of generation stage and the completion stage. We take it as a very high, and like Gyaltsen and so forth, we take it so high, and we look down upon the individual vows, and we think this is like kind of a lesser, or it's like kind of a lower scope. But what Lord Gyaltsen stated is these are very important. It's the most important one. For example, without having the individual vows, we cannot have the Bodhisattva vows and the Mantrayana vows, because the lower are the basis for the higher ones. So therefore, the most lower one is more, you have to be given more important, because it's a basic, it's the base, or it's a foundation. For example, sometimes people say that, oh, bodhicitta, it's not that important. We have to go to the practice of the mantrayana, the practice of the deity, and so forth. So this is completely misunderstood. For example, we don't practice about the refuge and the generations, the motivation, the altruistic mind, but rather you go and practice the highest point of the practice of the tantrayana. So what Lord Gyaltsen stated is that without having the bodhicitta, or this kind of the three refuge and so forth, we couldn't have the practice of the mantrayana. The mantrayana practice, or the sacred mantrayana practice, is purely based on this kind of foundation, the foundation of all these individual vows, the bodhicitta, and also the refuge for the Buddha and so forth. Therefore, it is stated that what is not profound for others is profound here.
샤모도 한국이 지도자는 토야데 샤몬 토기도와 한국도 막이도와 이네 개데 한국 치기도와 가서 한국면은 가서 고마지는 로투면도 샤모면은 로초도 하고 자네 지제 가와는 샤모 마오는 로초도와 이네 한국 마오는 주는 로야면도 한국도 배 개지모도 디나신 제네드네 지 자완다고데 배 마오레 스네 사부 마임바다 개지모 마임바자야 매워와 디나신 배나 칸반로 제유나양 칸베게 다 지금 로송망 쳐셔데 지금은 지제 더 메시 자안로 지금 로송 쳐셔데 사고를 로도 칸베게 망 템보지 마차와이나 근데 칸바 도지 주니 쉬자데와이나 고 돌란로 지로와 땡도 망들 배 템보지랑 개칭보지 쩌네 나도 칸바지 쩌고도 디나신도 냠nen라양 근데 자와든도 개체와 쩌고레스 근데 자와데 야부지 추송아이나 근데 대가나 야가당 로마당 되고 차상지 보숨 소바지 용도그래 송게르 티인도 자네 텐데시네 텐데네 이제 메자파는 들사오 소야 데레 텐테인도 자네 니콜라 테네 까담베게 라마 포도와 쉬야지로 나 콩게 가르 송바르스나 저랑드네 냠네 간르지 지기네 당분 치와 메다베콜라 선노야고지 땅스 치와 메다베 토네 저랑 섬능문에 주와 땅 도와지 냠네지 제도 송아이나 테네 디와 파야라야 칼레시다 요마레 게와드야라야 칼레메바치 차그레스 텐드 당분 치와 메다베곰스 치와 메다바 선노 땅 세베기 제라 테네 저랑야 니바들 칼공고르스나 잠바된 닝지 망부곰스 잠바된 닝지 야보지 저랑게 생기줄로 제투송아이나 근데 심지에 yen게 된체라 깔레메바지 차투그레스 옌된체발라 까주메바지 차용그레스 근데 된 기토라 잠바된 닝지가 돌아 다 동니당 근데 지 차첸당 조첸당 다 가르고메야기네 근데 곰스 다 저한테네 tenso gom나야 거페 펜도 첨부여가지 차투그레스 대마도 당보분의 동니라고 지 gom데바이나 대기 되네요 지 tarwa tobla penda no gochoya yumares tene induzane lamge zawate pe tempoji gore esna songdo ta tenso da tene tanandene jiden songo somba to sama tenda jigware.
So here, for example, like if we have a hat and the shoes, if you compare with the hat and the shoes is lower compared to the hat is in the the topmost of our head, and it's very important to have a shoes there rather than to have a head, because if you go somewhere without having shoes, you can't do anything. You need to have a shoes. Whether you have a head or not is a different thing. It is like, but the shoe is must. You have to need it. It is not a question of you are lower or you are higher. It is a question of what is the most necessity. So therefore, in the same way, these individual liberation, the vow and tree refuge and so forth are very important. For example, even if we are making a house or building, the foundation is very important. Even in India, when you are making a house or building, the most of the budget goes to the foundation, because we have to make a solid foundation. If you have a very good foundation, then you can build up how many story building you like or you want to build it. Otherwise, there's danger. If the foundation is not in a stable, then there's danger. Anytime it will collapse. And also, like, for example, like kind of a tree, the root of the tree must be a very confined, very firm and very stable. And if the root of the tree is very healthy, it will bring out the healthy leaves, and also the fruits will be, it will give a very good fruits and flowers and so forth. And in the same way as, for example, one of the masters of Kadampa, known as the Potawa, what he said was, whatever you do, the first and foremost is very important to have the understanding of impermanency of the life. Because if you have impermanency of your life, then whatever you do would be meaningful, because you would not do which is not necessary. You can only go for what is most wanted and most necessary. So after having this kind of consigns, the impermanence of life, then you go for the loving kindness and compassion. Because if you have a very good practice of loving kindness and compassion, then there's no difficulty doing the help for the other sentient beings, help and benefit for other sentient beings. If you have a very like a genuine loving kindness and compassion, and after that, then only you can go for like kind of practice of the Gyaltsen or emptiness or Mahamudra or whatever. Otherwise, if you go and practice Mahamudra or emptiness or whatever, it is not sure that you're not confirmed that you're going to do something good or bad. You never know, because you might have a like kind of end up in a mess up for the like a kind of problematic situation. So therefore, these kind of like kind of stages, the more the like kind of the lower stages are the more profound, because this behaves or it works as a basis for the higher practice. That's all.
Tene dorsong jonga pade teme zalong dame samja sondowa ta teme sendo zane tanda kondu shiwa tanzore nangbe tela chuya ge jamro tikjenge tela chuya ge chanchu ge sem sangha ge tela chuya ge wang ta tangso mewa yina tene ta sachi zalong gi nyamle chudung do ji nyamle chedeba yina ya chudu ge damba nyamle chewa yina ya 되게 산지게 고마 톡톡 말해스 강에서는 되네 당보 점주던 데를 냠내지 구요래 산지 고마 토가라 니바 되네 심지던 데를 냠내지 구요래 숨보 왕던 데를 냠내지 구요래 다 대조선 매차와 인도잖에 근데 자롱게 남아지고 산제 고마도 두 말에 스테인사 텐소 개침불에 송바래.
So here the 15 Fojo verses, without those foundation refers to that the refuge and bodhicitta and so forth. And without that foundation, one does not attain Buddhahood through the instruction of the channels and energy. So what it means is like, without having all this kind of foundation, like individual practice, for example, the three refuge, in order to engage into the path of Buddhism, and also the bodhicitta, to engage into the like bodhisattva yana, and also the empowerment in order to engage into the mantrayana. So without having the basic foundation, just by practicing the 6 yogas of Naropas doesn't make you a Buddhahood, doesn't take you to the Buddhahood, because you are missing something else. So therefore, the bodhicitta, the refuge, are the foundation for practice for all these kind of higher stages. So the lower stages becomes the foundation for the higher stages. So therefore, without those foundation, one does not attain Buddhahood through the instructions, through the just instructions of these channels and energies will not take you there. If you miss all the foundation of refuge and bodhicitta and so on. That's it.
Tene ma dorson judu bate ka dangel nyamnyong lo do yins. A tene tadandi nga lam la soba jangne nyamne tende sin nang yong du zane. Tene ya nyamnyong damanda tende jeya yosare nyongwan damanda tende jeya. Sam pena tandandi jejun gambo pege namtar tan sonang zigda. Tene gambo ba jejun mele kundu na pene danga shu gom nyamne nang yong du zane. 지금 생각한다면다 참참 산제다 chanchu 선바 같은 게 시행제야 참참 되네 지금 노르진창 공무순제야 같은데 참참 하다 하문제야 같은데다 냠뇽게 나와란 담을 만부 송용도와 대인도 전에 다 된대기 냠게 나왔던데 제용도 되네 카시에게 가르상 그래서는 되네 나를 믹스에게 냠뇽이 제송 선대문에 산제 그냥 너다 줄라서 보는 송요 말에 내 냠뇽데 배짜 친구에 투모만이 냠뇽이 서야 된대야 주얼레인 거와 근데 람케 용서게 돼 대지도 자는 지대 송을 가르쳐 버서 초랑게 냠뇽데 산지게 까단 가르 냠뇽지이나 로도레스 노르차레스들이 대인도 전에 지금 냠뇽지 줄라 제와이나 산지게 까단 tumbe 냠뇽이 제야는 배선 제고레스 근데 산지게 까단 tumbe 냠뇽지 줄라 제고요나 가르치고 그래서나 산지게 까단 tumbe 냠뇽지 제고요로와 근데 인도 그게 도도로 그래서나 나저 냠뇽 간르지 제와이나야 산지게 까단 tumba지 산지게 깔에 망게와지 근데 냠술랭고레스 근데 제와이나 근데 까단 tumbe 냠뇽다 까단 tumbe 또바 줄라 제기래 송바래 대인도 냠내 제외 가서 까단 가와지 냠내 제바이나 근데 냠뇽이 제외 가서야 까단 가와지 지기래 근데 대다 때네 달와도 당연히 좀 고마도 두 말에스 디치류산에 근데 까시는 냠술 랭고레스 야테 송바래
Like 17 Vajra verses, 16 Vajra verses, sorry. Experience that contradicts the Buddha's words are a misconception. So what it means here is usually when you practice the mantrayana on the path of mantrayana practice, we might have many different kind of experiences. For example, even the Gampopa, when he came to practice with the Milarepa, the Lord Gampopa, when he was doing the practice after receiving the instructions and teachings and so forth, he might have a vision of seeing the vision of the like Buddhas and many different kind of deities and so forth. And sometimes like we feel that like we might be something different from other people because I'm having a very different kind of experience. And these kind of egos and so forth comes about. And what Lord Jidin Sumin stated is that if that is the relation, if that has a relation with what the Buddha's teaching, then it is right. If it is not related to what the Buddha stated, then whatever the experience you have might have a like the problem, because it's not related with the Buddha's teachings or Buddha's like teachings. So what it means is like when you are having like kind of if you practice, which is then what is the point of having a right method or right point of how to have the right point of practice and the experience and the result? Then Lord Gyaltsen stated that we have to practice according to what the Buddha has stated. And if you practice according to what the Buddha has stated, then it will come according to the teachings, then it will come the result, experience according to that. And because of that experiences and practice, you will have a realization which is related to that, according to that. And because of that, then you will have a liberation. You will have liberation, and also like you will able to achieve the state of all-knowing Buddhahood. Otherwise, without having this, if your path is mistaken, then you are bound to have a mistaken experience. And if you have a mistaken experience, then you will never reach to such ultimate realization and all-knowing Buddhahood, the state of Buddhahood. That's why on the 16th, he stated that experiences that contradicts the Buddha's words are misconception. Last one.
Tene chubdun ba tegi gongba tam chengarme shibar gu sumbar ta de sung du zane jidan sanjegi taji ndo dang ju tendegi sungra mangbu nangla ji karsagure ta chugi gongbu jiri shidong se changa mangbu zaya yarwa de indu zane tendegi chu tedala ji tsigi gune di ji kaka yu dewan rawoji tene tena shindu 된다게 rimbe게 토네야 rimba 망부 유대와 되지 ngam 통구 여러와 대인도 장단에 가시에 가르상고에 산다 지금 산제기 가 탐제대 공바 tum바지 용대야 요 말에 산제기 손바에 강사 소소소소로 되는 송제와 되지 레세한도 배치 산제기 가이 공바라 지 응가르대와 나신지 계시 산제기 송배 까당 나랑속에 냠니 제출대양 산제기 까당 가로와 이나야 개준 매반다고 짓는데 선호당 쓰기로와 띠인도 대란지 된 송과 가르사나 산제기 송배 추 탐제대 공바지그래 띠인도 산에 산제기 송출 간지지 유나야 대응기 찬에 공바 용수 줘봐된 가로와 매바지 시엔토바지 그래스 난저 산제기 까 탐제대 공방 가르미 임바 가두 시엔송와 이나야 가두 또 송아이네 근데 저랑 원에게 다지 제바빵 초사네 초조 되지 차도 그래스 대마도 산제게 깔랑 가로와 예반하시 지다 산제게 까당 가로에게 되지 냠년지라 전대바 있나 되게 당문에지 달베게 라면 타와지라 랩도 말이 근데 인도 뭔가 탐진감이 심하지 해도 백해 침불에 손발에
One must know all the verses 17. One must know all the Buddha's viewpoints to be without contradiction. Usually, like the Sutra and Tantra, the teachings of the Buddhas are many. In time and situation, this differs. And also, there are 84,000 heaps of doctrine. And these all, like some scholars, they say that these are all taught according to the different disposition of the mental status of the disciple, and it's not possible that all these the teachings of the Buddha can come to one integration, come to one kind of point of the single intention. It's not possible to have that single intention, but because these are all taught to the different mental disposition of the sentient beings, so it is different. So whereas the Lord Gyaltsen here stated that if you have this is the misconceptions. Actually, the teachings of all the Buddha has to come into the same point and have to have the single intention. It may be differs by the words, or the explanation, but somehow the meaning of it, if you look deeper into the meaning, these are all actually to benefit the sentient beings and to bring all sentient beings up to the such one destination, that is the Buddhahood. So whenever we come to the point of the understanding that whatever the Buddha teach, whatever the different kind of teachings he did, it has all the same essence of the same essence or the one intention of the Buddha to bring all these sentient beings to the Buddhahood or higher stages, and then up to and ultimately to the Buddhahood. Then whenever we have this kind of understanding, then that means we have understood the essence, the teachings of the Buddha. Otherwise, we're not. So therefore, the Buddha stated that, Lord Gyaltsen stated that one must know all the Buddha's viewpoint to be without contradictions. There shouldn't be any contradictions. There's no contradiction at all, because these are all actually trying to bring the skillful ways or means, ways of means to bring the sentient beings to the path of the enlightenment. Lasula.
Walastani, ta tege ola, dorson chubje ba tege, damha tarme kadron waje sondo. Tan di dorson do kongdan terwa yore, penna kadan garwe ki nyamnyong ji jewa ina loto yin songso tanji. Tene sanje ki gomba tamche den garmi ba jingan do shen tugure songso. Ta tichi du zane kandara sanje ki gomba tela nganzo ji to tuyalam bezon shuk chimbo ji chigu yorwa. Tichi du zane ta chubje bandegi tene nganzo nyamso lembe tsena tene ta nyamne kandara ji ina tela kiksel dang pondon sene ka nyi yorwa. 다 케이크 간데 설부 유미 케이크 세출 포 간데 지는 다 폰던 수도 지단 야제다야 세로 띵드잖아 덴데 답름 가릴 때는 폰던 지구 유미 다 튼주 거데 띵드잖아 텔라데네 카시에 가르 삼기로서나 지 케셀도 폰던 거 거데 산지게 까기나 시다 세우요 말이 띵드잖아 데네 까지부나라 네바요 말이 텔레 담아지 라메게 담아지라 데네 지다 년샤오네 디케지그레 세야지 소용거요레 단지 대송고 가르송거스나 지단 라메 당아 세야텔라 카니 용그레스 지 오네 라마 천이다 덴바지게 당아인 산지게 까단 가로메 당아레 야 라마 데네지 라메게 메유바 잠지 토네 당안 담르 셰데바이나 단소 까단 가르에게 당아테네 용시바레 티인도 잔에다 가르이네메나 주랑 계획 세수르다 보온 돈술 된소데 산지게 까나시지 지토바이나 드는 리바레스 티인도 잔에 담가tar min 까나시 지는 리레스 영화 세안데기 지단 리브게 된다 지루와 담가tar 지는 리 말에 까나시 지는 리바레스 대송을
Here the 18th verses, Gyaltsen maintains the results of the practice are not according to instruction, but arise according to the Buddha's words. And what it means here is, usually there are some scholars or we have experts saying that all the important instructions are not clear in the Buddha's word. So therefore, sometimes it's very important to take an instructions from one's own guru or teacher. And here, what Lord Gyaltsen stated is that there are two things coming up. One is in order to clarify the one's own obstructions, and also one is that in order to flourish or to develop one's practice. So when these two things comes, usually people say that all the instructions are not clear in the teachings of the Buddha, we have to follow the particular masters who would give us the teachings for the particular obstacles or whatever. So therefore, Lord Gyaltsen stated that there are two kinds of teacher coming. One is the authentic teacher who really have the understanding of the Buddha's teachings and which is related to the Buddha's teachings. But there are some other teachers, instructions giving, who has a not authentic practice, who don't have the authentic experience. And these kind of teachers may lead you to the problem. So therefore, it is very important to rely upon the Buddha's words. It has to be according to the Buddha's word, arise according to the Buddha's words, because we are not really sure what kind of master you're going to face or you're going to meet it. And therefore, one has to follow to the Buddha's words. That's why the Lord Gyaltsen stated that maintains that the result of practice are not according to the instructions, but also according to the Buddha's word.
네, 다들 손 줄고 봐대. 쯤에 된전 감성 그룹 주 손도와 단딩 안소드네 지단 곰텔라 신의 곰바다 황통 곰바스 니 소용거와 다 자생게 갑라. 드네 대인도잖에 디 신의 거네 소용거요. 쯤에 된전 세야 소용도 지단 신의 tel라 준쟁게 땡인전 지당 쯤에 땡인전 스는 니 소용거요. 대인도 단다 지단 땡인전 세야 tel라 tene gombe kapsu jule chesruge tone sumdowa deve tingenzin seyaji ta shene mambu gongo zane tene deve tingenzin jule cheyundu lera tene je kabla soba tsuba ina tsuwa dunghe yung mare sungdowa tendegi shene jeya yosare deve tingenzin tene tena jendo salve tingenzin seyaji cheyundu zane shene ge tingenzin nyamre te jule cheyundu zane pena tene 문콩 텐데라 나콩 텐데는 유연한 양 근데 베지 누구 가래이나 거 세우는 도야게 땡인데 요를 숨거래 근데 뭐도 땡인데 순도사는 다 베지 남도 라과 탐체 방가네 매바차네 근데 남도 제메 반나신 찬로야 텐데게 땡인데 될라 뭐도 땡인데 스나 숨고도와 다 땡인데 텐데게 땡인데 숨보 될라 개시 심바제와이나 대와라 차과제와 sarvegi tingenzin zimbachewa ta tende cheneji chawadang zimbala soba jesonga ina tele junchegi tingenzin seger ta tanda gongde shebe tingenzin sumbo tendela shenpa machewa ina tele jomebe tingenzin se sungwer ta di indu tene kashegi kare sungwer ta tendegi jomebe tingenzin sumbo te ta chaja chimbo topa rangres chakchengi topa ta tele haji yomare tagarang 다 자자 친구 내로 또 바래스는데 모든 난게당 삼로 단계 텐데 유기 유사래 배는 남도 라바 탐제 방가로도 다 남도 가야매바 추구고 차상에 또 참도 삼만도 다 텐데기 그냥 셴바 쟁게 텐데 용되게 서와 대지든 지든 송어 들어 송바래 준 예배 띵인 진이나 인대인 준 매배 띵인 제 숨보 되게 양 감성근 코로와라 제와라야 그 주치기를 마도베 코로와는 타려야 주치 투구 말아예스 코로와는 타르구요나 상통구래 송거다 대인도산에 주미 띵인진 숨보테 제단한테 주를 찌찌기서 신의 공도 고랑신이 제용거데 냠숨보테 이나 델라 셴바 마지는 다동 라마라 먹어당 에너지 담나당 오다 텐데기 림발라 때네 로용도산에 tene namje tsena tene simbu nelu ta chaja chimbu musun tongyong yore tendo tsane tene tendrege nelu dum tong songa ina tan korwana ya tendo tanru yore sumbar teche du tsane shine tsam jura chewa ina tela hansa ya ske yo mare sting korwa gi jure se teten bare
Here the 19 verses. Faultless meditative concentration is the cause of the 3 realms of samsara. And what it means is when we practice about the Charchen, and in terms of the practice of Chaja Chimbo, the Mahamudra, and when we talk about the calm abiding, the Shinewa calm abiding, in terms of calm abiding, there are the calm abiding, the concentration, which comes with the fouls and which is the free of fouls. And there are 3 kind of the calm abiding. One is like when we become so peace and happiness. And this is one thing. And the second is like kind of the clarity. When we have a clarity, the concentration of clarity, then even if you go into the darkness without having light, one could be able to see clearly, and this kind of thing. And like another one is like the third one is the non-conceptual meditative equipoise. So these three are the three different kinds of the calm abiding. And it is stated that if you attach to this kind of like these three, then this is known as the fault, associated with the fault calm abiding. If it is not associated with the like attachment to these three, or if you don't have the clinging to these three, then this is known as the non-fault, without the fault, the calm abiding without the fault. And sometimes what the people say is, some practitioners, they say, if you have these three qualities, these three kind of the calm abiding, then they stated that you are like kind of, you have attained the highest stage, or you have attained the Dhammakaya, and so forth and so on. Whereas the Lord Jitendra stated that these three, even if it is without the fault, will not help you to free yourself from this cyclical existence, unless it was associated with the practice of the vipassana, the bhakti, and the practice of the mahamudra in its ultimate state. Otherwise, even having like a faultless vipassana, of course, the vipassana, the three kind of vipassana with the fault will take you to the cyclical existence, of course, because the faultless, which is without the fault, can also take you to the samsaric villains, unless these were associated, these three practice, the faultless practice, which is free from the fault, is associated with the practice of the vipassana or the bhakti. Then if you have a proper practice of the bhakti, then only it can lead you out of that samsaric flames. So today we stop here.
Sonamde tamje ziba ni tomne nibe danam pamje de jega nanje balon choba seben solen rovan rover sho lama gunkam zamwara survande chodo guse rangwara survande chille darjen jebra survande lama dan darwa mebra jenje lo jambe bawe chedran chemba Gundo zambo deyang tejin de teda gunje jizo dalush gewan deda tamje ramdu ngo sanje gusum nibe chenlaw dang chunyi minjuru denbe chenlaw gende meche ndebe chenlaw je chedra ngujen monglam drubar sho dadang gonde tham je je duzum do sabba Yube give zawan de dada simchen tamje lanam yang dabra zobe chanchu rinpoche dabra jurunje shija gunze gunchin chuje je tender nela wakum degung temper Emperor Ishidu to some Gombe Zenjuru Chanju Simcho Rinpoche Majiba Nam Jejurish Jesba Nyamba Mebra Yang Kone Gong Pever Shu 다소 된다는 것도 지만 쟁을와라.
So now, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Khenchen Rinpoche La. Thank you so much, Khenpo Kine. Thank you, our wonderful translators, Susu, Katrin, Lama Kuncho, Victoria, Alex, Rocco. And see you next week.